and welcome to the Dirty Bear podcast. My name's Sean, and joining me today is the one and only Alessio Conte, Mr. Conte, my man. How are we?
I can't believe you're recording this on your phone.
Oh, God, with the way technology has gone nowadays, chin chin, which is actually the bottom of your face twice.
I was going to do a back in my day joke, but you got me with the chin chin.
So, yeah, a beautiful time to be a basketball fan. The play-in. You actually asked to come on the podcast before your Sacramento Kings defeated my Golden State Warriors, but we'll get to that in a minute. Just for the meantime, how you been, bud?
Yeah, pretty good, mate.
Yeah. What'd you have for dinner?
So my friend Sean made these pork carnitas in some corn tortillas, and like, to be fair, Cole's tortillas don't do the trick. But everything else, Shawnee, banging.
Yeah,
salsa verde. Nicely charred pork under the grill.
Slow cooked under some aluminum foil before being charred under the broiler. Fucking,
that's the best kind of char.
You'd get less for murder. But yeah, we got the. You wanna kick us off with a little bit of a topic. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, I'd love to. I always been kindly known as the hater in the group, and I've taken that hate so far now that I actually just think I hate the NBA as a whole, and maybe basketball as well.
But maybe you hate other things. Like you hate.
I hate a lot of things. Yeah, for sure.
That's why you're the hater.
Yeah. It's not just to do with basketball, but I've gone from being like someone who's committed so much time in their life to watching copious amounts of basketball and consuming copious amounts of basketball content to effectively going cold turkey since approximately February 1st or January 29th. And that's been liberating. So outside of the group chat, there's not a lot going on and the occasional Instagram post. And I think that's what led me to eventually having this idea where I've gone from the former fanatic former fanatic that hated casuals turned casual. And the view from the other side is pretty bleak.
Yeah.
It's pretty bleak.
You've turned casual, but you're definitely more aware. Like you're not like seeing a Ja Morant dunk and you're like, is he better than Michael Jordan? You're not at that level, but you're definitely like, you're not buying any more Fox jerseys and Buddy Hield jerseys and hanging them up in your room. Yeah.
And I've gotten out so recently that I can still decipher. I can still like decode information basically. So whenever something happens on Instagram, I can look at it and be like, well, that's obviously bullshit.
Yeah.
But I wonder for the average listener, I assume the average listener has like some form of interest in basketball and probably consumes more content than I do. It's fucking brutal. It's brutal. The amount of... Because Instagram's obviously figured me out. As in, like, they figured out that I want less of it. So when they do show it to me, they only show me stuff that's popular on Instagram and not stuff that I would like. It's like the algorithm's lost touch a little bit.
Yeah,
where it just goes like, we'll occasionally throw him a basketball thing, but not like a pointed basketball thing.
Yeah.
And because it's just a basketball thing, it's all like Kobe stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's so much Kobe, Jordan, and LeBron stuff.
Really?
That's effectively all it is.
Wow, I thought you were gonna tell me it's like, I'm getting fucking Wemby dunks twice a day.
No, because I'm not getting the posts enough.
Yeah,
so I'm getting so little that it's just legacy stuff.
Wow, that sucks.
It's absolutely brutal.
That's the worst. Surely that's enough of a. Surely that spurs you on to like fucking get back into basketball because it's like you've fallen out of it and then you're like, oh my god, I'm getting all this legacy stuff. Someone fucking save me.
Yeah, no.
Damn. No. What else you
just press the not interested button and you keep rolling. I didn't see as we led into the play-in. There was obviously a bunch of Lakers stuff, and there was a bunch of Golden State Warriors stuff.
What stuff? What do you mean?
So just like posts about the Warriors in the play-in and who they're going to face, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Warriors pages, because they're obviously the pages that are bigger. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'm scrolling through my like search function on
Instagram.
Yeah. And I didn't see a Sacramento Kings item come up in the lead into the play-in.
Yeah.
There was some Zion stuff. There was Warriors stuff. Obviously Lakers stuff. I got nothing for the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Like 0 posts.
Yeah.
but predominantly, and then obviously recently it's just been Klay Thompson memes.
So this is I didn't think you were going to say this. I thought you were just going to be talking about just like the highlights you've seen, and this is way worse than I thought.
Yeah. But that's why, and like I now kind of feel I always used to be so judgmental of casuals, and just being like, just watch anything else. But they don't know. They actually can't. They literally can't.
Yeah. Like so. You'll meet someone. You'll be like, oh, do you like basketball? Oh, I do. Oh, let's talk about basketball. So do you think Kobe's better than MJ? And it's like, oh no, don't you want to talk about the play-in that happened today? So it's this really helps. Yeah. This seriously helps when it's like when you speak to someone, you're like, why are you thinking about that?
Yeah, exactly. Why is that even coming up at all? The basketball's on right now.
Yeah.
There's basketball being played.
So they like these sort of people won't know like who the Orlando Magic are.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's fucking great.
Brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
That is brutal.
Yeah,
and maybe we should be more
forgiving
and empathetic to these people because we're not. God, this. I'm sorry. This has gone in a completely different direction. I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I was wondering where you were.
Thinking
but I guess like that's the thing, right?
You don't know.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
As much as I didn't know, you wouldn't know either.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm sure we've got millions of listeners now. Just going like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, millions.
Yeah,
there's billions.
Well, modesty's good.
All right. Well, let's after establishing that you haven't watched basketball in a while, let's talk about the play-in because it's a great time to be a basketball fan.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to talk about the Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls. So if you've tuned in to listen to that, I apologize, but I fucking doubt it.
Hey, I'm sure DeMar DeRozan was very good.
You know what? Kobe White had 40 points.
Oh.
Yeah. But look, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the two interesting games. Two of the three interesting games. We'll start off with the one that was on today, just a couple of hours ago, the Miami Heat versus the Philadelphia 76ers. An absolute slugfest, which we knew it was going to be a slugfest. We knew it was going to be just like defense winning. Joel Embiid's obviously not healthy enough to score 40 burgers.
Isn't he?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. He came back a couple of days ago, and he came back against the Detroit Pistons.
I thought he came back like 2 weeks ago.
But he was in and out of the lineup and only played against the bad teams. This is sort of the first good team that he's played since he's come back, right? I should actually.
And a strong argument to be made that they're just not good.
Yeah, that's a very strong argument.
They've just got Adebayo, which happens to match up 1-on-1
with Joel Embiid. Let me just try and get the box score up, which is something I should have done before. But the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Miami Heat 105-104. It wasn't that close. It was 3 points ahead, comfortably taking free throws, and then the Heat hit a 2-pointer.
It is a little embarrassing that it took them the whole fucking game to win this, though.
Yeah, it was
so embarrassing.
So Joel Embiid had 23 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. It was a tale of two halves. Like the thing that I definitely noticed is that this Miami Heat team just is not as good as the Miami Heat team that was in the finals last year. And they, Eric Spoelstra was one of the best coaches in the league, and he realized that his team just wasn't good enough to do what they want to do. So they played a lot of zone. And in the first half, the zone absolutely killed the Philadelphia 76ers. The Sixers only scored 39 points against the zone. And that was with some hot shooting from Kyle Lowry, where it's like, if you're able to get that many points out of Kyle Lowry, you should be fucking running away with the game. You shouldn't just be nearly winning. The 76ers got booed off the court at halftime. Can you just say a couple of words on your thoughts on Philly fans?
Just Philly in general. Why bother?
Yeah, well, you've been there.
Is that a couple of words? Why bother? Yeah, that's literally a couple of words. Yeah. Why bother?
But they say that when they love you, they love you.
But like they love this team.
Yeah, they
so
should.
what's the? Well, I think they do, and then they should be able to wrap their heads around why they're the 7 seed and not the 2 seed. You'd hope that they could they had the capacity to do that. Yeah. Maybe they don't.
Yeah. B-Ball Paul's really good.
Yeah.
He's their backup.
No, I know who he is. The year was more, is he actually?
Mm-hmm.
But I think just like everything about them's cringe except Maxey. And this dives more like further into the game itself. But they lose the game without Nick Batum. Shooting like the fucking lights out. They just straight up lose the game against a injured, weak Miami team with the guy they did without the guy they traded for at the trade deadline, their best player injured, their second best player like playing with no backups and no help, their third best player being injured.
Yeah. That like the Miami Heat have no right being here, and like playing the zone, it was like, oh my god, this is going to be a disgusting win, but they're going to win. But thankfully, Philly came out, and Nick Nurse is not Doc Rivers, so Doc Rivers is who wouldn't adjust.
Yeah, they lose it last year, right?
They definitely lose it last year, but then Nick Nurse was like, look, grab the ball in the high post, and then you're going to have a small guy on you, just spin around, and then you're attacking Bam one-on-one downhill, and like even if Bam is the Defensive Player of the Year, or he's second on most people's ballots. If you're attacking him downhill and you're Joel Embiid, you're probably going to win that advantage more times than not. And they just did, and they just abused it. And it's not like the Heat could say, okay, well, we'll switch to a man and we'll change up our zone, because they literally can't. The reason they're in the zone is because they have so many bad defenders just hanging around. Jimmy Butler, it's come out that he might have a strained MCL, which means he's probably going to miss that next game against the team who we shall not name, but rhymes with Hools.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty dire straits for the Miami Heat, who sort of showed their hand at the start because they had to, but then couldn't adjust. They just have to hope that you make more shots. And Tyler Hero we don't have that stat in front of us, but I think he was like 7 of 24 at one point. And he has to keep shooting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Sixers going forwards? Does this fill you with confidence that they can beat the Knicks?
Yeah. No. And like, at least Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein are both 7 foot tall and not 6'9", I guess. Not like they're obviously worse at defending. Is Tibbs good enough defensively? And then can Jalen Brunson score enough points since Tibbs isn't good offensively, or at least has never proven to be? And also, like, none of the teams in the East are good at basketball. Like, none of them, except Boston. And like, let's be honest.
Are you playing the mindset card on the Boston Celtics?
Well, yeah. Jason Tatum's like pretty stupid, and don't even get me started on how stupid the other JB is. Well, is he the only JB?
Yeah, the only JB.
Oh, Brunson. But
yeah.
He's the only JB for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I want to find out the standings. So if you just so 50 wins for the Knicks, second seed Eastern Conference. 46 wins for the Kings, 2 major injuries. Yes, okay, Randall also got injured, fair enough. But if we were in the East, we would have 50 wins, easy.
And you'd be the 2 seed.
We'd be the 2 seed. Like, and I mean, like, who's to stop this shit Warriors roster from also being the 2 seed if they were in the East? Let alone Lakers, Pels, Suns, Mavs, Clippers. They'd all be way more than 50 wins if they were in that conference.
Yeah.
Like,
just 50 wins gives you the 2 seed. The East is, we say this every year, but it's historically bad. But it just seems like it's equally / more historically bad this year.
I remember when we started getting into basketball, and there was such a chasm between the conferences, and then it felt like it closed up for some reason. I don't know if that was the league pitching it that way, but it's well and truly like. I don't think it's. I mean, has it ever been close? I don't like.
No,
not in recent memory.
No, I remember Zach Lowe was talking about it. He said it hasn't been close since Michael Jordan was at his peak, right? When Michael Jordan was at his peak, you had those Knicks teams as well. The Pacers were good with Reggie Miller.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like in recent vintage, let's say the league was pitching in recent vintage, like, the Lob City Clippers era, right? Like, who were the best East teams during
it was like that Rose team, the Heat.
Yeah.
And then
maybe Rose Bulls, and then there was the Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce Celtics, right?
The Nets were like meh. Yeah. The Raptors were good, but like whatever. The Hawks were good, but it's still
that Knicks team with Melo never won 50 games.
I think it won it once.
It won it once, right?
This is the team since then,
right?
Yeah, and like he sucks.
Yeah. We're not rooting for him to win 50. We're hoping it's 49. No. Amari Stoudemire.
How do you? It's gonna be a rogue comment. How do you feel about the theory that if DeMar DeRozan was drafted in 1983, he'd be Michael Jordan?
Yeah, this is completely all over the shop.
I'm pretty into it.
Does this come up on your Instagram For You page?
Yeah.
But it's definitely funny, and I haven't thought about it any further than just a joke.
I think I've thought about it.
I mean, like what's...
Like, obviously he's not.
Yeah, but like his
but also like Uzi.
yeah, but like his fucking is Khaled Martin, Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's when you're talking about like the era stuff where it's like we're just so much better at conditioning, we're so much better at fitness
and basketball.
So maybe DeMar DeRozan is Michael Jordan.
Yeah, God, that's good. I love that so much. Oh God, where was I gonna leapfrog that to? Oh, it was a graphic. We'll go back to our casual conversation because honestly, I've got nothing for Philly.
Yeah. Well,
Philly sucks.
Both of our teams played a big game. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. And like this game, even just like I watched enough of the game, plus the highlights just then, and I spoke about it today with a few of my Philadelphia 76er fan students.
Yeah, that's a key word.
What do you think I was going to say?
Colleagues.
Oh, colleagues. Yeah. No, not colleagues.
Well, you see them at work.
Yeah, true. I don't work with them. I work for them.
Oh.
If you really think about it.
Yeah.
Or I work for their parents because their parents pay taxes.
Yeah.
Taxes pay for everything else.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a graphic. It was 10 all-time NBA players, and the prompt was like, "Who's the worst player?" And it was Dwayne Wade. It was like Wade, Kobe.
Give me the answer.
No, it was like Wade, Kobe, Duncan, Shaq, like LeBron, Jordan, blah, blah, blah. And obviously the answer was Wade. And the top comment was like, LeBron would be nothing without Wade and Irving, and they listed 9 ancillary pieces to. And of the 4 rings should be given to Irving for the shot, Wade for the bringing the Heat together, Wade for bringing the Heat together, and who would the other one be?
Like Kevin Love for the.
It was like Davis.
Yeah.
Davis for the bubble. And then. So the first comment under that was, oh, well, here are Michael Jordan's 6 rings. Scottie Pippen. And he just said Pippen's name 6 times. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I hate those arguments where it's like, oh, LeBron would be nowhere without Anthony Davis. It's like, yeah, well, no team would be anywhere without the second best player. I look at the Nuggets were missing Jamal Murray for 2 years and they got nowhere.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about? Yeah. And then it's like, oh, yeah, you gotta respect players who don't team up with superstars. Well, what if you just get drafted and then your team drafts another suit? Like, what if you're Kevin Durant and then you just happen to be playing with Russell Westbrook and James Harden?
Yeah,
that's it's not weak by him. And like, when he joined Steph Curry, he turned out to make a very good team.
Oh, you're still talking about Durant?
Man,
best team ever.
You got to like log out of Instagram. You got to delete your account and start again. Just re-upload all your pictures.
Yeah,
and it'll be funny. They'll all be uploaded from the same day.
Yeah,
fucking. And then maybe everyone will give you get all those likes again for the engagement post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And the Kings post from 2017.
Might have to run that by my fiance.
Yeah. Should be fine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
She's all right.
Well, all right. Let's talk about the meat of the pod. It turns out the Philadelphia 76ers are better than the Heat when the Heat are a shell of themselves. But the 9-10 matchup in the Western Conference, the Wrighton Conference, was between the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors, which you might be familiar with as your team and my team.
Yep.
Fucking, you won. I can't believe
I was telling everyone.
Yeah.
And like I carry a Sacramento Kings lanyard. My keys are on a Sacramento. And during class, I swing the lanyard on my hand and like wrap it around my finger. So it's exposed to like 90% of my workday. So everyone sees the purple lanyard, and so I get references of either from like students that I teach or just students that are like, "Is that a Kings lanyard?" I told everyone we were losing the game.
Yeah, everyone. Right. I was wondering where you're going with. I told everyone, but also like you made the playoffs last year. And it was like a great, successful season. Like you won 50 games or whatever. You were the 3 seed. And you made the playoffs, and I was like, great, you broke the streak, etc. But you didn't win anything, right? You obviously lost in the first round.
No, you should have won that series. The 2-zip thing.
Yeah,
that was so shit.
But you won this, and this is like again. I was running around your school fiddling with lanyards. I was telling everyone, I wasn't even thinking about this game. I was like, fuck, how are we going to match up against Anthony Davis or Zion? Right?
Yeah.
Fucking, I thought you had no mindset. I thought Fox is great, but he's having a bad year. I thought Davion Mitchell is bad.
Yep.
Keon Ellis, I watched him hit 5 threes one game, then I picked him up in fantasy, he never did it again.
He's so fun.
Harrison Barnes,
Good.
The fact that he's still called Harrison Barnes is just befuddles me. No one's been close enough to him to call him Harry.
Yep.
Sabonis obviously laid the biggest egg, and it wasn't golden. And then you just come out and have this. This is one of the more impressive wins I've seen in recent memory. Right? Like,
yeah, but like, are you guys just cooked?
yeah, but even still, like, it's still Steph Curry. Like,
He's been cooked all year.
He's been cooked for half the year.
Okay, well, the half that matters.
The half before yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and,
but he's...
And, like, Draymond's a dickhead and Clay's so bad at
Clay, I'm so happy he went 0 of 10. If we were going to lose, it's not like... I would have hated it if he scored 19 points. But now that he had 0 to 10, well, now it's like, oh, you want to re-sign with us? Well, Russell Westbrook just signed 2 for $9 million.
Sure,
and
okay.
we see you as
You're talking about the money.
as opposed to like, oh, you want $15 million a year from the Magic? Go find it.
Yeah.
Like, fucking best of luck.
Do you think Steve Kerr's bad at his job?
Nah.
I couldn't disagree more.
Oh, what's he done wrong?
Just so from 2015 through 2020, when did you beat Boston?
2.
Absolute top tier coach.
Yeah.
The moment you won the 6th game of that series, literally like the minute.
Yeah.
He like Monstars brain drain.
I might actually argue that it was 8 seconds before the last minute.
Okay.
Because he subbed Andre Iguodala in, so he could be on the court.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since he subbed in just one of the worst personalities in basketball history, it's gone. All of it. It's all gone.
What? You just don't think? What? It's just not smart to run a motion offense with just like the wrong cast
Shit
of characters.
basketball players. Yeah,
but that's
like,
him. Though.
He's like lost. He's lost Draymond, which is probably as much Draymond as it is him. Clay sucks, and he keeps throwing him out there. Curry's just got nothing going for him, as in like no one's helping Steph.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you where he didn't play Jonathan Kuminga for the first half of the year.
And that.
Yeah, like that. That's
the Wiseman thing.
Yeah, well, he played Wiseman too much. But in retrospect, when he wasn't playing Kuminga, it's like, oh, no, like, Steve knows what he's doing, which is something that I said. But then he's all of a sudden started playing Jonathan Kuminga. After Kuminga was like, that's it, trade me. I don't want to fucking be here. Started playing him, and it's average. Like, as soon as he started starting, he was averaging like 24 points a game, and it's settled back down to 19 since he started starting. And Kuminga is definitely a real basketball player. He might not be a superstar, and he might not be the second best player on a title team, but he's a fucking good starter, right?
Yeah.
He's a starter.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a good basketball.
You know more than me.
And the fact that he just wasn't playing him, that definitely is a knock.
It was like an ego thing, right? It's like, I'm going to stick with my guys. Yeah. It's like, bro, that's never fucking worked. Ever. I can't think of an example in a sport where people have like stuck with their guys and when the guys sucked and it's worked.
Yeah.
Like, and this, I don't even think this counts as an example, but like, the Geelong Cats won the premiership a couple of years ago and all their players were 36. But they were all fucking good at footy.
Yeah.
All of them were good at footy.
Yeah.
These guys actually suck, except for Steph.
Well, I mean, we didn't suck 2 years ago, and that was Steve Kerr sticking with his guys. Like, is that what you mean? Or do you mean
no, but they were good then.
Right, so you're talking about sticking with the guys when they're bad. Like playing Clay 30 minutes. Yeah.
What else is there to do? There's no one there. There's no young people, blah, blah, blah. But like,
I mean, I listen to a lot of Warriors pods and I watch a lot of Warriors games. Like, I think I've watched like 60 Warriors games this year, right? It could have been more, but we actually played one elimination game. We lost it.
Yeah.
But Moses Moody, he cannot get in Steve Kerr's rotation.
Yeah. Isn't he fine?
Yeah, but good fine, right?
Yeah, that's right.
like...
And no, I mean fine as in like
more than
put
0
him
minutes.
on the court. Yeah.
Just, I don't know what... He must have done something to Steve Kerr's like son or something.
Yeah.
You
don't want to know what that guy's name is.
That's also a knock on Steve Kerr, calling your son Nick.
Fuck. It's not Nicholas. Like, it's Nick.
How do you know that?
I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look this up.
My mate at work, his name's Sam, and one day, I was sitting around at work, and fucking Samuel, what are you? He's like, no, my name's not Samuel. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, my dad said your name is Sam, not Samuel. How about that? Do you know anyone like that?
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, well, apparently his name's Nick. It's literally Nick. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but okay. So you think it's a Steve Kerr problem, and
Head coach of the Santa Cruz Warriors. There's no way he's good at coaching. There's actually no fucking chance. Okay,
like his dad just like
that's nepotism.
His dad smoked too many billies with Bill Walton. Now he just knows how to run this kumbaya offense.
Yeah.
Nick Kerr has not gone through that developmental process.
No.
But okay, so you think it's Steve Kerr problem because he's sticking with these old heads who aren't good. Well, let's talk about the old heads who aren't good.
As much of a Steve Kerr, I think like they're all bad. Like Kerr and the players. And the front office decisions since the championship.
Yeah.
And the fucking franchise. Like just everything. It's all bad.
Yeah. Okay, well...
It ran out, right? You had one of the best runs in NBA history.
Yeah, but no, we're at the end of the run.
Yeah.
Still a good win by you. Because I thought you were just the no-mindset team who would just like, oh, okay, well, I guess we'll lose the one playing game to the vets. You know what I mean? I'm shocked that you won this.
Yeah,
but our jig was going to run out. Do you want me to... So I would listen to the Light Years podcast last night just before I drifted to sleep, crying, actually. And then at the end of every Light Years pod, they have the goons on.
What's that? The radio call-in? Yeah, sure.
Do you want me to tell you some of the highlights just off the top of my dome on what Warriors fans said?
Yeah. Because you said something today that I was like, there's absolutely no chance that we should be talking about this story right now.
Well, so someone called in, and the first word he said was, "It's got to be Giannis, yeah." He said it's got to be Giannis. Like, you know, Giannis has said he wanted to play with Steph in the past. Giannis is missing game 1 against Indiana and possibly game 2, which means like, what if Indiana knock him out in the first round? Giannis is going to get a wandering eye. Like, it's like the net is still hot from from shooting, right?
Correct.
The net is still warm. If that's possible, the net's still warm from a basketball game.
Keegan Murray's still got his hand out extended with his wrist flicked.
Before we get on to the Warriors, just mention that Keegan Murray was the target in that playoff series last year, and you lost in 7, and he defended the fuck out of Steph Curry, right?
Yeah.
So net's still warm.
Yeah.
And they're saying Giannis. Like, it has to be Giannis. And then I messaged you guys yesterday. I'm like, Kuminga, Pods, Moody, pick 2 of them, and we add 3 first-round picks to that. Opt into Chris Paul, right? Opt into Chris Paul's contract. Is that Giannis? And then Marco is like, that's too much, man. And I'm like...
Too much?
Yeah.
No way, Marco.
It's like 31? No way. Not Marco.
Yeah, Marco.
Johnny.
No way, that's not enough.
No, it's not, because...
That's not even close.
The Utah Jazz come knocking and they're like, oh, we'll give you 1 extra pick and just as many bad prospects.
Gobert got 5. First.
I think we might...
the same age?
I think we might be on a decline. I don't know if the real-world recession applies to the basketball market, but
sure.
I think we're on the decline from the Gobert 5 picks. I think...
Yeah, and the Gobert George, like, they overextended.
Yeah.
I mean, the Thunder and all those... There are those 3 teams that just have 1 million first-round picks.
You might be the first person to refer to Paul George as George. Because I was like,
that actually makes sense.
Initially I thought Keontae George.
No, I'm thinking of George.
PG.
Who was the point guard that was a Spur turned Pacer? George Hill.
Yeah.
Spur turned Pacer turned Buck or whatever.
The Blondes really have more fun. Find out next on the George Hill show. He doesn't have a show.
Yeah, no, I got it.
You're giving Jeff Teague, but he backed him up once. They were in a fight. He didn't.
Right.
So that was one caller, right? The next caller, he goes, I respect what the last caller said, but we should be looking at someone who's on the market and he might be a bad fit, but how about Donovan Mitchell next to Steph Curry? What are your thoughts on a Donnie? And then the next...
Well, here's the thing with Donovan Mitchell. He just wants to play in the market, right?
Yeah, literally.
So as much as I hate myself for saying this, but like... I mean, it's better than the Giannis call.
Yeah.
I don't think it works at all.
The Cavs need a 3. Give him Wiggins and or Cum Dog.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything, and he's out by end of contract. But because you're trading for the end of the contract, right? Yeah. He's gone once it's over. I mean, unless he sees himself as like replacing Curry. But you won't be able to put anything next to him.
Yeah. Undersized 3 in Moody. Wiggins are still there.
Yeah,
God. But we actually won't be able to put anything next to him because we might still be over the second day for him.
Although I do this with all teams, like I never know how they're going to rebuild, and the good ones just sort of do.
Yeah.
Like whenever Miami like comes out of a phase, like they come out of the LeBron phase. The Wade Bosch. And I was like, what the hell are they going to do here? And I appreciate, and I'll preface for the listener, the Miami Heat are one of the best franchises in NBA history.
Yeah.
And they happen to be in a state that pays $0 in income tax.
And they've got nice beaches.
Pretty convenient.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's start there. Or let's just put that in as a little disclaimer.
Yeah, it's an asterisk.
Yeah. They do it.
Yeah. It was like sign Luol Deng the next year, win 40 games, drafted Bam Adebayo.
Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, Jimmy
Hero.
Butler, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Can the Warriors do that with Mitchell? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, next caller calls up and says, I've just got off the phone with my grandfather who's crying. He lives in the Bay Area, has followed the Warriors his life, and he was crying after this display. What are your thoughts on just the start there?
Yeah, I don't know. Get over it, I guess. I don't have too many thoughts. That sounds about right. That sounds like a very Collingwood Magpies response of like, we won the premiership last year, but God, I'm just so frustrated with how they're playing this year. It's like, did you hear the first part of your sentence?
Yeah. You won 4 titles in 8 years.
Yeah.
It's not many people win titles.
Yeah. You were the worst team.
Yeah.
Your team was worse than the team that beat you.
Next caller calls in and says, I don't have much to say, but I'm just happy I don't have to watch Chris Paul. I don't have to root for Chris Paul anymore. And then he hangs up.
I like that.
That's beautiful. I thought you
that'd
would.
be good for you.
I thought you would like that.
Because what does he do? Does he stop?
No, he said he's not going to retire too.
But what's he going to do?
Nah, because you know how addicts are, man.
For sure.
He's addicted to the finals.
Yeah.
Nah, so if we trade for a Donovan Mitchell, right,
sure.
and we can't upgrade the roster in any meaningful way, would have to opt in to his $30 million, assuming it is the Wiggins and the JK as the matching salary. Just a far-fetched idea. Let's not go too deep on that. But if we live in a world where we have to opt out of his $30 million non-guarantee, then I guess he signs the mid-level exception with OKC or he just signs the mid-level with the Lakers or something like that.
Yeah, actually, I like the Lakers one.
Oh, so he's 38, so it might even be a minimum, right? He's a minimum for the Lakers.
And is he better than Lowry? Kyle Lowry?
Well, he could go to the Heat. That would be a good one. He's been linked to the Heat before. Sorry, not. I know you meant the Philadelphia 76ers, but God, it's good saying their full name. So that was one call. The next call was that's it. Don't bring back Clay. He's just gaslit us into thinking he's good.
Yep.
Get rid of Draymond because any young players we have just don't believe in who the fuck he is because he punched Jordan Poole in the head.
Yep.
Trade Steph Curry.
Nah, too many jersey sales and ticket sales.
And then
I trade him on a 2K rebuild type beat. Sure. Trade him as an even remotely realistic. It's more realistic to get Mitchell than to trade Curry, right? For sure.
Yeah, and if the worst case is, you keep Curry, you lose as the 10th play-in spot the next 4 years, and then he retires and then you're done.
Is Curry better than Kobe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Lakers did that. And we own all our picks. And the Lakers sneakily tanked, said, oh, no, it's Kobe's farewell tour. And then you look around and it's like, oh, you got Julius Randle, you got Lonzo Ball, you got D'Angelo Russell. That's a pretty good way to end the tour.
Yeah.
Steph might be the same. We own all our picks apart from this year's pick.
Yeah.
And then you might look around and go, oh, we drafted another big gym and we drafted
and you see what happens, whatever.
See what happens. And maybe you trade him. Although the front office came out yesterday and said, we're going to do everything we can to maximise Steph Curry's prime and winning around Steph Curry. But they've said that for the past
prime to stretch, right?
They've said that for the past couple of years, and it's resulted in keeping every single young player you've had and trading 4 seconds for
Chris Paul.
And Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. That's not. Yeah.
But look, in hindsight, we got off Jordan Poole and it cost us no first round picks.
Yeah, but he wasn't that invaluable.
He is now. Yeah,
but now he is.
Now he is.
But it's not about hindsight. The Poole trade was what are you trading him for?
Yeah.
I think you have to be I don't think you can be
You can also
Is it retroactive?
Yeah, you can also congratulate a front office for seeing this coming, maybe.
Yeah, but how did they not get more for it? You just traded for the salary, then did nothing with the salary, and might still continue to do nothing. Might be forced into doing nothing with the salary,
Which just saves money.
Yeah,
Imagine for a normal
but
team.
what's money? You're 45 seconds ago, you were like, the front office said we're going to do everything we can to maximize the prime. It's like, all right,
No. But I'm saying Chris Paul's 30 mil could expire, and if we weren't above the apron, then that would be $30 million in cap space, which it still might be if we dump someone.
Yep.
But as opposed to Jordan Poole, where it's like, oh, you need to pay him $28 million for the next 4 years.
Which
That's so much worse.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so.
Well,
Honestly, you had a young point guard in a league starved for well, maybe not starved. I don't think they're starved, but he could have fucking gone somewhere. You could have sold someone. He also didn't he just get punched in the head?
Yeah.
So he was the good guy.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly
and then
enough.
he spent 82 games making himself the bad guy.
Yeah.
This episode of The Deep 2 is presented by Gelateria Bico, the official gelato of The Deep 2. Gelateria Bico, handmade gelato in the heart of Brunswick.
The Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show is your fortnightly dose of the lighter side of basketball, hosted by me, Marco.
And me, Lucas. We take a more laid-back approach, talking about the NBA, the WNBA, FIBA basketball, culture, whatever tickles our fancy or grinds our gears.
The show is filled with great guests, classic gags, and a healthy dose of tangents in honour of the great man himself.
The Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show, fortnightly on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
Loves just talking about the league, certain things like that.
Okay, well let's move on to the winning team, the Sacramento Kings, who are going to play Marco Holden Jeffries, New Orleans Pelicans. I think it's funny that both those are 3-word names, Marco Holden Jeffrey and the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay. Yeah, which is nice. Do you think he can win that? And it looks like Zion's going to miss the game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I think so. As in, I think we can win it. But I don't think we'll win it. I think the Pelicans' peaks were way too high during the season, including when Zion was out.
But Bingers didn't close the last game because he was injured himself.
Oh.
So if there's no Bingers, you might just win it by default.
True, yeah, that's right. And CJ sucked, and Valanciunas and Sabonis will get the same stat line, except Sabonis will have more assists, which is nice. And then Fox is better than everyone they've got.
And they'll get dual techs for ramming heads at one point.
The white guys, yeah. I mean, Trey Murphy's not that much better than Keegan Murray, right?
Someone put him as top 15 playoff player.
Yeah, that guy. That came up in one of my casual posts.
Trey Murphy had a good playing first game.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But he's not that much better than Keegan Murray.
Yeah, I should have picked OG Anunoby. I understand.
Yeah. I'm saying you should have picked Keegan Murray, but that's all right.
I'm rooting for you because
here we go.
No, well, it's going to be you versus Leandro.
Yeah.
A friend of the program goes for OKC. That'll be the first time in NBA history you guys would have faced off.
Yeah.
Not even Conti history.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And I think they just destroy us.
See, I was already penciling the Warriors into the second round because it's...
Over the Thunder?
because it's... This is... My tongue is firmly in my cheek. But it's this is the rookie team. We're never going to do it against Denver. And we just get shat on by talented big men like Gobert and Towns, right?
Yeah.
If there was ever a world in which someone wins the
8-1,
it's against the young OKC team where Chet has been against the rookie wall for a month. If Fox has really impressed me, and this team has impressed me with the mindset that I just didn't know existed. But if you can come in there, if Chet is still kind of not at that all-star level that he was, and Sabonis and Fox have gone through this maturity, it's at least not a sweep.
Yeah, sure. 4-1. Fox and Sabonis aren't that old, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I never think about it until I do.
Yeah,
and then when I do think about it, I'm
28.
Yeah. Fox is I think I'm 3 days older than him.
Yeah, right.
He's literally my age.
Yeah.
Which is daunting.
Yeah. It sucks.
Oh, God, it's so bad. He's great, though. Do you really think like it's a mindset win though? Like I'm nervous. I'm nervous if the Kings come away from beating the Warriors and being like another conversation I had with a student today. Like, yeah, but you got them back. So what are you talking about? Like we're up 2-0 in a real playoff series, and now we've beaten them in a game for the chance to lose to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I can only imagine in typical American fashion that the Sacramento Kings, and I'm saying American, like American culture, and they're filled with American players, they come away from that game being like, yeah, we got them. So you didn't get shit.
True. Like you sort of won 2 playing games last year. Like the first 2 games you won were like sort of winning. Yeah.
Whatever. Win a series.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been really negative on this Kings team, and I'm quite.
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed.
I wonder what the series looks like with the 2 shooting guards.
Yeah. What,
with the monk herder.
The 1-8 or.
Yep.
Yeah. It's.
And I think with the 2 shooting guards, we beat the Pels. Yeah.
Yeah. And Monk might return. Who knows?
He has to.
It might be like a Tyler Hero last year sitch where it's like, if you make the conference finals, he'll return. Like one of those ones.
Oh.
I don't think it's very close.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because you'll get paid more somewhere else?
Oh, no. I thought I mean return to the playoffs.
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, like, why would he leave the Kings?
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. He can make the same amount of money. Yeah, you can do that, man. We're on the lapel marks here. He can make the same amount of money wherever he goes because he's not going to get paid any more than whatever. So yeah, it's yeah. Do you feel good?
No. It was nice to back it up with like a decent season, right? Like,
the West is just so hard.
oh man, like it's that East conversation again. And even then, you would get out of the. I'm not saying we would get out of the East, but even in this like hypothetical where like you're the best team in the East and you get out, you just get fucking wiped by whoever comes out of the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking before while watching the highlights and eating a delicious dinner that my friend Sean cooked, and like. I don't trust anyone except Denver. Yeah. And I didn't trust Denver last year. The only reason I trust Denver now is literally because they won it.
Yeah.
It's the only reason.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're mostly unchanged.
We can go back to my take from, I think it's a take that Marco likes, and I hope other people like it too. Thank you, listener. But like everyone sucks.
What? Just the
like all basketball teams, they're just bad at it. They're all bad at basketball.
What do you mean?
Like everyone's good. Like like everyone just sucks. You know what I'm saying? You obviously don't know.
As in, like
we need Marco in here. He'd get it.
I was at basketball on Monday, and I was talking to my friend Matt. Shout out Matt if you're listening. He couldn't remember the name of the podcast, so he's not listening. But we was talking about someone. His favorite player is Gary Payton, right?
Oh, is he okay?
No, because he's like he's an undersized guard who can't shoot threes, so he's like, and he loves picking up dudes full court. You just can't see any positivity, right?
That doesn't mean he has to. You can be like, you know who I model my game after?
No, but not model.
You can't be like, who's my favorite player? Get out of here.
Like, I guess he likes LeBron, all right?
But, well, I hope so.
But he's like, he loves Gary Payton. Like, what do you think? I'm, I love him, man. Like,
Are we talking about the Seattle or Golden State?
No, Golden State.
His favorite player.
What are you talking about? The glove?
It's the Golden State Gary Payton.
No, the mitten. Yeah, the Golden State Gary Payton.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's like when you say your favorite player is like fucking Bumfluff from the 2012 Kings, you know?
Yeah. Jason Thompson.
Yeah.
Out of Ryder, 13th pick.
Yeah.
Or something. No, was he? You know what? Doesn't matter.
Leads the Kings in minutes played.
Still, Fox hasn't got him yet?
I don't know. He came up on the TV like a year ago and it was like...
God love him. He was a great warrior.
You guys had him and you also had Seth Curry and you had Harrison Barnes and then you could have signed Bogut and then you could have recreated the Warriors starting lineup from surnames. Who's leading the Kings in all-time minutes?
No, Oscar Robertson, but that doesn't count.
Fuck off.
Rochester.
That
doesn't count at all. Hey, do you think if Westbrook was around in the 50s, he'd be Oscar Robertson?
I think if Westbrook was around in the 2020s. Yeah, so his favourite player is the mitten, right? And he's like, what are you doing? Oh, yeah, fucking love him, blah, blah, blah. Did you find it? Did you find the minutes played?
No, it
Kings
just
list?
says Oscar Robertson.
Yeah, whatever. And then, I'm like, he's like, do you like him? I'm like, yeah, and he definitely passes the beer test. Like, I'd love to get a beer with him. You know, like he just seems like a nice dude. Like whenever he dunks on someone, he just scratches his head and looks up at him. It's like, God, and then he draws Tex by doing that. It's like, God, that's sick. And I ain't talking about Tex Walker. And then he's, and I'm like, yeah, passes the beer test. And then Matt goes, oh, like, this is how I'm going to relate back to your point, but he goes, who wouldn't pass the beer test? I'm like, oh, I think a lot of NBA players wouldn't pass the beer test. He's like, go on, like who's the highest profile dude you wouldn't want to get a beer with? And I'm like, maybe Steph Curry, man. Like,
oh yeah, God no.
Yeah, like hyper religious. You got the whole protesting a commission housing near his house because he doesn't want poor people around him.
Yeah. Also, like, try having a personality. Ever heard of one?
No, I think it's fine to be like media trained and just say neutral, positive
No.
things.
I mean, he doesn't have.
Yeah,
Don't worry about the media training.
Yeah. Didn't you watch his Davidson videos where he was dancing and rapping?
No.
Did you watch the?
I saw Jordan Poole do that Drake song dance at Michigan.
Yeah. Totally different. This one's way worse.
Nice.
Did you watch the Golden State? Did you watch Steph Curry documentary of him coming out of Davidson? I love asking these questions.
No.
If you don't ask, you never find out. Yeah. So
Did you watch the Redeem team?
yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't.
Oh.
Why would I?
So extrapolate a bit on your point about how every single person sucks.
Like, none of them are good. Like, they're all good, obviously. Like, the quality of play in 2024 is better than 1998. Sorry, Jordan fans. Or 93, 92, 91.
You're talking about
96.
legacy. You're a product of your own mind for
No,
youth.
yeah, true. Well, I do always Google was Michael. But like they're all like the quality in the league is great, right? And because everyone's good, relatively, as in like against each other, like they're all bad. Like no one's actually that good except Jokic, LeBron 3 years ago, like
Steph
Toronto
Curry 4
Kawhi,
years ago, yeah.
Steph Curry 4 years ago. Like it's just sort of like flatlined outside of Jokic. Can you believe? I wanted to bring it up. Sorry, I didn't want to bring it up before because it'd be better if I brought it up now. Joel Embiid has an MVP.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Who's leading the NBA history in points per minute?
He just like isn't good enough to relative to the other players to like be that person. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we definitely see a separation in the playoffs.
Yeah.
When it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yanni a couple of years ago, he was great.
Yeah.
God.
So you're saying the best players are the best players, but the quality at the bottom of the bench. So like
the bottom of the bench is better than the old bottom of benches.
And like Bones Highland might be the best player in the 70s. I saw some shit like that.
Yeah, ever heard of Magic Johnson? He's on the Clippers bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson had this quote, when you watch League Pass and it's got they just fill the video during the ad breaks. There was a Magic Johnson quote, they're talking about Dr. J, and then Magic Johnson was like, and then we were watching him play, and then he went up and he brought the ball down, and Magic Johnson was like, wow, bringing the ball down? Where's he going with this? And then he hooped it back up around the other side of the rim.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, just turn on the G League. And Mac McClung does a 360 between the legs. Yeah.
There was a highlight semi recently where like Jalen Green switched hands in midair and laid it up with his left hand, and they put it side by side with the Jordan one.
Yeah.
And it was like Jordan did it once.
Yeah, shit like that. Yeah.
And Jalen Green's like doing it all, and or like Morant does it all the time. Like they're all getting up there, and
but
doing stuff.
Like I don't like talking about legacy stuff, but now that we're talking about legacy stuff and like how great are people back then, and it's like, oh, is Bill Russell the best player ever? But like all those guys couldn't dribble with their left hand. That's just like Steve Kerr had a good quote, and you're gonna hate this, but it is a good quote where he's like, you look at any sport, well, most sports, and like let's say it's track and field, where it's like, oh man, track and field races in the 70s, they were the best for their time. And they're wearing like Converses and they're drinking fucking lemonade at halftime and smoking cigarettes right, while running. Yeah. And it's like, oh, of course we're better than them now. Not only just the fact that, people like as Usain Bolt will just eat like chicken breasts and fucking
Yeah,
and broccoli, right?
yeah.
Not only that, but the fact that like if he needs to recover, he'll fly to Germany and go into like some fucking hyperbaric time chamber like Goku and just like fucking he'll have zero gravity fixing his knee or some stuff, right? So there's definitely that. But then, and we look at every other sport and go, oh, of course we're better. Like we're getting, world records every Olympics because we're just getting better and better and better every 4 years. Of course we come back and be better. And it's like, why should sport go backwards? Why would Michael Jordan be better? Why?
I agree.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's, and it's
Absolutely.
just, and it's so frustrating when it's like, hey, who's your GOAT? And you can look at accolades, but then like MJ was playing in a league that had 2 expansion teams and was playing with less teams. And it's like, well,
like I told, again, my students, LeBron's better at playing basketball. Isn't like, what are you asking me? Are you asking me like who's the best basketball player? He's better at playing basketball. At the game of basketball, he's better at it.
Yeah.
He also happens to be bigger and stronger and faster and jump higher.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking convenient in the sport that he also has better skills in.
Yeah. But if the question...
Mindset, mentality, blah, blah, blah. Shut up, dude. He had the best team in all 6 of his championships.
This feels like a good pod. We've come full circle.
Yeah,
we started off talking about that, and then now we're ending up. We haven't, but usually when you do those full circle discussions, like whether it be a comedy gig or whether it be a podcast, we've learned something. And we talked about the play-in the middle, and we're just equally where we are. You're going to keep going on Instagram Explore. Yeah. Remember when my Instagram Explore was just the blue people avatar meme? And I just had like 90%.
Yes.
It was like, cargo space? No, it stays on the ground.
Yeah. Car does not go space.
Yeah.
Who wins the chip?
You're picking Denver?
Yeah. I'm not even like thinking about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I remember my preseason prediction was the Milwaukee Bucks. Fuck, it's not looking good.
Is Dame bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Nuggets, I think. I was so ready to criticize them and be like, you cheap pricks, you fucking subbed out Bruce Brown for, and you wrote the article, but you subbed out Bruce Brown for Justin Holiday and like a bag of chips. But Jokic and Murray just like, and you just get on the weak side and just have them two go back and forth, and there's no answer for it.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Casual Instagram moment. Podcaster, bloke I've never seen before. Podcast is probably called the Deep Three or whatever. And I say that because there is a podcast called the Deep Three that always comes up on casual Instagram. It wasn't there. Yeah. But they were like, oh, well, do you think Jokic is better than Shaq? And then the other guy was like, yeah, obviously. And then the first guy was like, what? What are you talking? You tell me Nikola Jokic is better than Shaq. And then the other guy's like, are you fucking serious? Of course he's better. He can do everything. Shaq would just like dunk on people. And the other guy was like, well, when he was younger, he used to run and dribble, and then he just started dunking. And the first guy was like, bro, tell me one thing outside of like defense and dunking that Shaq was better at. None of it. Literally none of it.
And if you want to say he's so much better at defense, then that's 50% of the game.
Yeah.
There's the other 50%.
And it's the 50% that, at least now, like, is it really 50 or is it like 30?
Yeah, but at least Jokic has definitely gotten better at D. It's not like he's a zero.
No,
Yeah, the Deep Three, they weren't around when we made the Deep Two, but they're part of some sponsorship with TNT. We've got our eye on you.
Yeah. Hey, cringe.
I like to think that when TNT signed them as just, it's ESPN or one of those big, when they signed them, they were looking around at podcasts and they typed in the Deep Three, and I like to think that our SEOs were fighting hard enough to be on the screen.
Nice.
How good.
I hope that they wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and feel disappointed in themselves.
The fact that it's the numerical 3, not spelt out.
Gross.
Because
under 10, and I learned this from one of my favourite English teachers, under 10 you write the word. Over 10, put a number.
Hey, that's the journalism
We've
thing.
Come full circle.
That's not an English teacher thing, that's a journalism thing. But
that's what she said.
That's what she said. But
Bazinga.
My style guide at work used to be numerical for 10 and above, but then as soon as I took over as editor, I rewrote it so it was numerical 11 and above, because I love TEN.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought 10 and
such a minute detail.
Yeah, no. When I said 10 and above, I meant 11. You would write 10.
Some people will go 10
Number
number.
10.
Yeah.
Because double digits.
Because double digits.
I don't know how I feel about that.
The Australian government recommends 11 and above.
Yeah.
That should do it for
That
them.
might be the one thing they got right this year. And they didn't even make that decision this year.
Alessio, thanks for coming to the podcast. If you're still listening, not you, the listener, check us out on socials. 54, we fucking did a bit of legacy there.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, the playing. Great time to be a basketball fan. We're both picking the Denver Nuggets to win. And
Go Nuggets.
you go for the Kings, man. We're rooting for the Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope you beat the three-letter names.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right, speak to you next time.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? Find the W Basketball Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.